EICMA of the new year, I bring you to see the 20 bikes not to be missed in this edition. But first of all, pass by our stand at the pavilion from the first protagonist of our review. I'm talking about the Honda CRF Rally RS Moto. And it is indeed the bike with which I will run this year, starting in December, the Africa Eco Race, a special bike equipped with front and rear tanks with a capacity of 30 liters to ride the very long stages in the desert with the very powerful Honda 4.5 engine with almost 60 horsepower. But she is only the first protagonist, because now let's go to discover together the other 19 bikes not to be missed at EICMA of the new year. The second bike at the show in strict order is the Suzuki DRZ-S. A fantastic comeback by the Japanese manufacturer with this single-cylinder enduro and super motard-powered single-cylinder engine. But it's not just a remake of the DRZ-S. It's an all-new bike, steel frame, aluminum swing arm, and Euro 5 Plus engine with 38 horsepower at 8,000 RPM. The electronic part also grows so much with engine maps, adjustable ABS, and even traction control. Here is the great protagonist of the new Fanti Caballero 500. I'm talking about the twin-shaft engine, made in Italy and Bologna. By Minarelli grows the power from 40 horsepower. We are at 45 horsepower, but the weight of 150 kilos is confirmed. And other great news only on the rally version is the 21-inch front wheel that off-road enthusiasts have so much requested from the company of Treviso Changes, also common to the Caballero 500 Scrambler, with all the electronic part revised, including the blocks and instrumentation. You absolutely cannot miss Yamaha because the all-new Tenere 700 debuts. The look does not change completely, however, there are some very important changes, starting with the headlight with the new LED headlights and the central aluminum Y that reminds just the logo of Yamaha. This is the rally version, but the changes are also common to the standard version, are new conveyors. The tank has a new knee vent. Gear side and the whole tail has been redone, starting from the central area to the rear area, much more slender towards the top. But the main changes then concern the electronic part that has ABS. Settable and most importantly comes ride-by-wire, which brings with it traction control and also 2 engine maps. Come with me now, I take you to Benelli to see the TRK, the big news, the 902 Explorer parallel twin-cylinder. From as much as 100 horsepower and 8,500 revolutions, other features are tubeless spoked wheels, steel trellis frame with aluminum swing arm, and a very aggressive design with, of course, all the LED headlights I was telling you, long travel suspension and fully adjustable. Guys, this is not a ranking on the best bike of the show. However, surely the queen or one of the queens of EICMA is the brand new Panigale, along with its cousin Street Fighter. Equipped with the V2 engine, Ducati turns over a new leaf and makes debut on this bike a 90-degree V-twin engine of 890cc, very light but strong, 120 horsepower at 10,750 revolutions with 90 and 3 Newton-meter of torque. All the cycling is unprecedented with the swing arm, with this very important lightning central aluminum. And an aesthetic that recalls the Panigale V4, but with the difference of a double exhaust undertail. This is the V2S. But it starts with the V2 and the V2 depotentiated that have prices from 15,790 euros. From Honda, you absolutely cannot miss the new concept V3 with an electric supercharger between the cylinders. We have 2 front cylinders, electric supercharger, which is a first and rear cylinder. We do not yet know the displacement and power. However, we see a trellis frame that already foreshadows what could be a naked version. Honda has confided in us that the engine is already running on the dyno and will be an engine mounted on a full series of models that we will begin to see starting next year. Now let's move on to CF Moto with the brand new MTX, a 91 horsepower twin-cylinder maxi enduro bike with a high fender, 21-inch spoked front wheels, and look at that huge tank running in the low area to lower the center of gravity with its rally bikes. There's a Rally Pro on it. You can sit down, thank you. Tank also rear, TFT instrumentation, and lots of electronics. Let's hear it now. Max Mori, how is the ergonomics?
Good, very good. I like it very much.
Will you stand up, please?
Look, I'm almost slim on this bike. Beautiful.
That's all from CF Moto. Now let's move on to the next house. From Kiwi comes an interesting proposal for the rally world, but not only for competitive use, but also for dual use. We are talking about the TXFR, powered by a single-cylinder engine of about 40 horsepower at 8,000 revolutions, low manifold. As on the rally bike's own racing, carbon fiber guards and long travel suspension. For the fork, we are 280 millimeters for now. It is a prototype, but may soon arrive on the market. BMW Motorrad is back at EICMA, and look how many people are there to see the many novelties and then surprise the BMW F450 GS, a mini GS, but not even too mini, powered by a powerful twin-cylinder engine, 450 from 48 horsepower, so perfect for the license to two tubeless wheels for maximum safety, 19 inches in front, 17 in back, Brembo braking. And a very compact design with the headlight that immediately recalls that of the GS 1300. Continuing, we find a steel trellis frame with very off-road style details and the decomposable rear frame. Lots of news also at the Moto Morini stand, with the Escape that grows in displacement arriving at 700. With the Morini 3.5, but the one that impressed us so much is also the Corsaro GT that joins the sport. And naked versions is a crossover with 17-inch wheels and an interesting V-twin engine of 750cc strong with 96 horsepower, mixed construction for the steel tube frame with the upper part in aluminum, and aluminum also the swing arm. Interesting proposal from Royal Enfield, because here comes the anti-Bonneville with this bare 650 twin-cylinder engine, front-end air-cooled, but also oil-cooled. See here, radiator, inverted stems fork, spoked wheels for 47.5 horsepower. Behind we have the classic spring-loaded shocks and the exhaust that runs low. Very typical British motorcycle trim and a sticker price that starts at 7,300 euros. The number 27 at EICMA means only one thing, Casey Stoner, and this is the bike that Beta, the very Italian Beta, I has made for him. Is a 352-stroke single-cylinder equipped with a very powerful engine with a double spark plug to give an even more ready, almost 4-stroke response at low revs. Flat Track is a bike with different wheels than the classic super-motored Enduro for racing on dirt tracks, and is the bike Casey will ride right here at EICMA 2024. And if 27 means Stoner, RC means Ricky Carmichael for a bike developed by the American champion himself, we are talking about the brand new Triumph Motocross TF 450 RC, equipped with a very powerful single-cylinder engine, single shaft, and then confirmed the frame of the 250 fully aluminum frame for this sensational debut in the world of motocross. And from the motocross bikes next year are also expected the two Enduro versions. Bimoto from 2005 will race in the World Superbike Championship, and these are the bikes. In road version, only 125 units, but with the typical construction that only Bimoto knows how to do, so steel trellis frame, and look at the aluminum side plates, pieces machined from solid, are truly fabulous mechanical executions, everything else in carbon fiber. Then there is the 4-cylinder engine, Kawasaki 200 horsepower at 13,600 revolutions, cured also the aerodynamics. This, I remind you, is the road version with the carbon fins. But then continuing, we can see other incredible construction details, such as the steering plate with the steering damper above, the carbon fiber tank cover, and the whole tail, including the license plate holder, made in the same valuable material. China now also focuses on superbikes. QJ in fact starts with this very naughty SRK 1000 powered by a 4-cylinder engine with 160 horsepower. Particular also the design that draws inspiration from the Ducati world, both in the front, but especially in the tail, with the air intakes and the double exhaust under tail. Also impressive is the aluminum single-sided swing arm. Not to be missed at EICMA, Aprilia stand, the new Touareg in rally version. We have been waiting for it for a long time. This is the version I tested on the track together with Jacopo Ceruti, and finally comes the standard bike for sale. It still looks like her, but changes significantly, starting from the aesthetics with the high fender and also the whole front end redesigned by Aprilia, but then there are substantial changes in the gold anodized wheels that are lighter, suspension revised inside to have hydraulics with more support, and also the engine has a new throttle body to give a more prompt response. Last very important change for off-road riding is the revised ergonomics with an even higher handlebar. Rodolfo Frascoli, he was the one who put his hand on this new Mondial, a two-cylinder 450. It is called MUD, as MUD 452. It has about 48 horsepower, 175 kilos, is an offer in the adventure world. Obviously not racing, but with a lot of range, starting with the plastic tank that runs all the way to the bottom and has this feature of the plastic slider instead of the metal pipes. If you slip, you just change the slider. Then the aluminum swing arm, and already quite important electronics, because we also have TFT instrumentation, and especially important is the price, because it starts at 6,390 euros. AM Network doesn't forget about young people, and dedicated to you, there is perhaps the most beloved bike in Italy of 16-year-olds. I'm talking about the TM Moto 125. This is the supermotored version, and guys, the most important thing is that the 125 has an all-new engine that debuted on the motocross that is available with both carburetor and injection. On the supermotard and enduro version instead, there is the injection with dedicated mappings, and we talk about an engine that in the racing configuration from motocross or supermotard track use exceeds 40 horsepower. Also new is the lower cradle. While we find confirmed the excellent aluminum frame, aluminum as the swing arm, and then there are the usual details taken care of by TM. We see, for example, the Kayaba fork with the Brembo radial mount caliper, and look at the billet fork leg. Turning to the other side of the bike, we find other neat details such as the exhaust belly, Scalvini expansion, and then even look at the finesse of certain constructions, such as the sideline crankcase to improve cooling. This is one of the most beautiful Italian bikes for 16-year-olds here at EICMA. And here we are also in Kawasaki. Couldn't miss from our review with this beautiful wooden box. But what's in here? We can see an Indy action that says KLE. Kawasaki is being a bit mysterious this year, but something lets you see. Here is the front end with a single disc, upside down stanchion fork and 21-inch wheel. The classic 90-90-21. And down there is an engine with two manifolds, so a parallel twin cylinder, and that means KLE 500. The bike is now in this cube. Come and see it, something you can tell, and it will definitely come during 2025. KLE 500. Enthusiasts wanted it, and KTM satisfied them. I'm talking about the KTM Adventure that finally gets the front 21-inch. Perfect for the most demanding off-road routes, obviously associated with the spoked wheels. At the rear, we have an 18-inch, but also the whole fairing is revised, and there is a front end inspired by the 450 rally bikes, the bikes that run the Dakar. Engine confirmed single cylinder, KTM 390cc of about 44 horsepower. Among the features we find then, the chassis with the new trellis frame and the swing arm, under which is the exhaust. And this is also a novelty. We have an under-engine exhaust on an adventure bike. So those are the 20 new things not to be missed at EICMA, but will there really have been 20, or have I miscounted? This let me know in the comments, and above all, tell us if we have missed something, because we will run to show you the other novelties of this fantastic fair. An edition of records with lots of new models and a lot of desire to amaze by the houses. I expect you in Milan EICMA 2024.